sweet that you get at the entrance, which is called krówka. It is made basically of sugar and milk. And keep it. Try keeping it for 10 minutes. Okay, we'll come back to it. And I'm a project manager, but I'm in IT, and I come here from the realm of conference interpreting. And when I used to interpret and we had conferences, we call these people and these slots in the agenda that took place after lunch, we call these speakers grave diggers, because there was no one in the audience. Everyone was, like full and sleepy. So welcome to my graveyard. I hope we're going to have some fun together. And we're going to start with a question. And the question is, who of you remembers from your childhoods a situation when your mom or dad made you to go to school even you really, really, really didn't want to? Anyone? Like, I did for sure. Yeah, like probably everybody, but people don't like to talk about their childhoods very often, so. And what I felt in such situations, and what you probably felt too, were not happiness and, wow, I'll go to school, right, and creativity and this kind of stuff. What you felt probably was irritation and resentment. And these are feelings that really do not foster learning, right? They do not foster creativity. And they also do not foster good cooperation at work. So irritation and resentment are not something that we want other people at work to feel towards us, right? And good leaders are people who do not evoke irritation and resentment, simply because no one would follow them. Because we're animals, our brains are wired in a way that we follow people that we trust, and we actually don't follow people that are bossy and irritating, for simple reasons. And there's some science behind it. So there is this institution called the Gallup Institute, and they've been researching leadership for decades. And what they've actually found out after researching and talking to 1 million teams and 50,000 leaders and 20,000 followers, what they found out and what they defined in this research was that people actually like following people that evoke trust and compassion. And when I say compassion, you probably have this huge question mark in your heads, and it's like, what? What does it have to do with work? Isn't compassion a feeling that you feel towards stray dogs or kittens? Like, what the hell does it have to do with my work? So I'll tell you what it has to do with your work and my work too. Compassion comprises of 3 elements. And the first one is empathy. So empathy is this ability to feel what other people feel, or at least imagine what they're feeling, right? So coming back to this mom situation, she's standing there in the corridor and she's red in her face, and I'm just like, okay, mom, I guess you're angry, right? And that was it, right? Understanding, feeling the emotion. The second element is cognition. And cognition means understanding what emotion the person that is there with us is feeling, and understanding why they're feeling what they're feeling. So this mom situation would be like, yeah, I mean, I know you're angry, right? It's simple to see, but is it because you want to have the house to yourself, right? You want me to go to school because, I don't know, you want to have a party or something? And the third element is motivation, which is a drive to help this person, or yourself actually, to face this emotion. With my mom would be, okay mom, so let's make a deal. I won't go to school. I go to my friend's house, we'll play video games, and you would have the house to yourself, right? You wouldn't be angry anymore, would you? So, empathy, cognition, and motivation. And now I would like to show you 3 situations and give you 3 tips basing on these situations on how to be a more compassionate leader, and actually how to be a more compassionate person, because it's not only for leaders, of course, it's for all of us. I will be talking about teams, not only leadership. So if you apply them, I hope you would be leading better with both your head and with your heart. which might be a bit original to some people. So, first situation, real work-life situation. Imagine that you're a developer, or if you are a developer, then just imagine it's your normal day at work. There's a deadline coming, and there's a bug, and your release candidate is not ready, and you found a bug, and you found a place it is in. You know how to fix it, right? So you're just sitting there, you're coding, and you're just fixing it, and you know what you're doing. And then your team leader just comes up to your desk like every single 30 minutes. And they're like, okay, like, is it ready? Like, how are you doing? When we're going to release it? Is it still possible to release it? How would you feel? Yeah, like, would you be motivated and, eager to deliver the version? Probably not. Probably you would feel irritated and just like, wow, like, what? Why are they talking to me? The reason for that is that you are adults, or at least I hope you are. So adults have this characteristic that we really need frameworks and we need baselines, but on the top of that, we need space. And we don't like when people, force themselves on us and just really force us to do something. So my first tip is to give space to people around you, because responsibility grows with autonomy. If you give autonomy to people, in most cases they're able to make their own decisions, and most of these decisions would turn out to be good for the moment. Second situation, you're a tester. And again, we're having a release, right? And there's a release candidate again. And there's this bug you find there. And you go to your project manager's desk, and you really, really want to share it. You want to tell them, yeah, listen, I mean, we can't release it. We have to delay the release to production. And so you go to their desk, and this person is having their headphones on, and they're just clicking feverishly on the computer, and they look super busy. And you start saying something, and they don't even take their headphones off. How would you feel in such a situation? You might feel different things, of course, but I can guess it would be like disappointment or anger. It wouldn't really motivate you to fix the bug and to help do some team's work. So my second tip for all sorts of people, but for leaders mostly, is to focus. You need to listen and focus on people around you. You need to pay attention, at least basic attention. So when somebody is talking to you, try taking off your headphones. And when there's a meeting, I know that we all love our phones, and there's like whole universe and everything is happening there. But when you're in a meeting, just try not to use your phone. Try to focus a bit on what is being said. And when you're talking to people, it doesn't matter if these are people at work or at home, just try listening actively. Like, without drifting away, without like thinking about lunch or I don't know, relationship problems, just try focusing on being there with this person that is speaking. Because focus and paying attention improve cognition. And when your cognition is improved, you understand more and better what is going on around you and what is going on with the people that you're talking to. Third situation. You're a team member, a designer, for instance, or a tester or a developer. And there is a release again. And your manager is behaving like a headless chicken. So they're just running around. They know that it's not going to happen today, and they promised their client that it would. And it's been like the third time they said so. They're basically losing their shit. And you're just sitting there, just thinking, yeah, like what? Like what am I supposed to do in such a situation if a person that is, leading the team is unable to do anything? They're just, totally headless. So the third tip is to keep calm, to be calm, and actually to be kind. Because a peaceful mind is something that would save you in most situations. Be it a car accident or be it a release or anything else. the more calm you are inside yourself, the more space you have in your head, the better decisions you take, and the faster you react. So you can practice your mind, practice this attention and focus and being calm through mindful meditation, or actually through sports. Whichever you want to choose. Just keep your cool head and praise people around you. They would remember that you praise them. Just try to be kind. Okay, so that was theory. And we're going to move to an exercise. This exercise is something that you can do basically whenever and wherever you are. It's kind of short. You can do it at work, you can do it at home. It comes from the realm of meditation, but there would be no humming, unless you want to. Of course you can hum. It's going to be short. And research behind it, research conducted by universities like Harvard or UC Davis, proves that when you practice mindfulness, when you practice focus, your own focus, for 8 weeks, even after 4 days, your brain starts working differently. Of course, I encourage you to read some research because most people think it's, bullshit, but it's not. So, we're going to change your brains. We're going to practice headspace. So, take out your krówka, which is a toffee fudge. It's made of sugar and milk. So if you're allergic to sugar or milk, please don't. And we're going to make a quick exercise using it. We're going to eat it, so be prepared. Okay, so I'm going to do it with you. Take it out, and if you have it, put it on your hand. Try having a look at it. What does it look like? I know it looks like krówka, right? But is it rectangular? Is it round? How does it feel on your hand? Is it heavy? Do you feel it at all? Or maybe not? What is the color of it? What's the shape? You can try opening it, unraveling it. Try listening to the sound. Can you hear my sound? When you've taken it out, just have a look at it. What color is it? Is it black? Maybe it's yellow? Red? Is it sticky? Look at it, please. And when you're done with looking, you can try biting a piece off, or you can just put the whole thing in your mouth. And just try tasting it. Just check, what is the texture of it? Can you feel the taste? Is it sweet? Maybe it's a bit sour? Bitter? Does your teeth hurt? Because mine do a bit. Just try feeling it. If you like it, just... You can bite it a bit. Swallow it. And when you're done with that, the question is, how did it feel? What did you feel? And another question is, how often you pay attention to what you're eating, and how often you pay attention to what is going on here and now. When I did it for the first time, I was quite surprised. I love eating, and I do eat tons of food daily, but I realized that especially when I'm at work and I have lunch, I just do it, like as if it was a competition, who's first. Because I have to run somewhere, I have a meeting, I have a lot of things on my mind. I'm thinking about projects, I think about calls with my clients, I'm thinking about releases and problems and everything. So, food for thought. We even use our phones daily without even noticing it. So, food for thought, and the question is, do you notice what you're doing when you're doing it at all? Is it food or anything else? And I'm gonna leave you with this question. Just try answering it for yourself. And when you come back to work on Monday, I would like you to remember 3 things from this presentation. And these 3 things would really improve your leadership skills, and they would improve your team work. Of course, if you apply them in practice, not only in theory. And I do accept complaints, so if it doesn't work for you, you can just ping me on LinkedIn or you can email me. And these 3 things are space and kudos. This is the first one. So give space to your team. Give space to people around you. Don't force yourself on them with your opinions and your time and everything. Kudos them. Try to see how much good they do every day. Every task, every line of code, every version tested, every design made, every call conducted, every presentation. These are good things, right? They help us work, they help us develop. So just keep it in mind. Bring people beer or cake to work. Try bonding. Number 2 is focus and attention. So like I said, like I showed you in this exercise, you can practice it daily. You can focus on what you're doing when you're eating. You can focus on your feet actually when you walk. So when you walk around the office, just notice that you have legs. I know it sounds stupid, but try doing it and you'll see. Just discover your legs, discover your feet. When you sit down, you can focus on your breath. Just count your breaths from 1 to 10. This would help you regain focus. This would help you to practice attention. And the third thing is being calm and kind. So again, you can practice calm in a way like I told you. And kindness is a bit more complicated because we all do have these people at work that we hate or that we really don't want to talk to. So next time you face this person and they come up to you and they want something from you, just try thinking about one single thing they are good at. This can be virtually anything. This can be, I don't know, this person, whatever, makes good presentations, this person is, I don't know, has a nice haircut, or nice socks, whatever. Just focus on one positive thing and see what happens when you do it 2 or 3 times. So, space, attention, and kindness. These are actually 3 simple things to do and to be a more compassionate leader and to lead with both your head and heart. And I promise, if you apply it daily, it would change your life to better. Thank you. So you can have some questions now, or if you don't want to ask questions now, there is this QA corner outside, so I can wait there later if you want to talk about meditation, or being kind, or talking about emotions. And if you don't want to, we are all gonna have a longer break, so your choice. We have a volunteer. Sorry, I can't see you.
Hi, Anya.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you, for how long do you meditate, if you do, but I assume that you do, and how did that improve your work, like in a daily basis, in your team? Thanks.
I was quite, I don't know, maybe not against, but resilient towards meditation for a very long time. And last year I attended this course organized here in Krakow. I think it was called like Oddychaj.pl. This is a group that conducts mindfulness practices here in Krakow. So I've been doing it for a year now, and I try to do it every day because that's that's the fastest maybe way to rewire your brain, so as to say. But I do it like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. 10 minutes is enough, 15 minutes, sometimes 40 when I'm really super emotional. And how did it help? It helps me keep my head cool, and it helps me deal with other people's emotions. Because I've been working, I'm an emotional person, and I've been working on my own emotions for years. So this actually helped me a bit, but it helped me more with other people. So when somebody approaches me and they're like super angry or, I don't know, disillusioned because something didn't go the way they wanted, meditation, of course, not like I meditate so I'm this person, but meditation, just keeping my cool head and space, allows me to help, I think, a bit better, because I don't get so much engaged, and I can make rational decisions and just give people tips on how to solve their problems. Thanks for the question. Do we have any other
Yes.
volunteers?
So thank you for the presentation.
Thanks.
I have a question. Do you have some habits that you are performing as the first thing when you came into job that allows you to focus?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've just recently realized, because I adopted a dog, I realized that when I walk her in the morning, it gives me, more power and just more focus, but that's a recent thing. Normally when I come to work, I eat breakfast, I have coffee. Maybe there is one thing, I try not to talk to people in the morning.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's 7:30 or 8, and I know I would be talking to people for the whole day. So I try to give myself space, just to prepare and unravel slowly into the workday. But nothing special. I don't sit down and meditate under my desk.
Okay, thank you. And I have second question, do you have any clues how to engage whole team to be more focused and motivated?
I've actually been thinking about it recently. So nothing off the top of my head, but what I can suggest, bonding always works, but it has to be true and genuine, so you must have this drive inside you that you want to, spend time with people and just learn something about them. But in general, I would say that what works for me, at least, is being kind. So my friends just, laugh at me that I'm too kind very often, but it pays off. It's not to say that this is, a mask I put on. I'm just trying to, take care of people and their emotions. So trying to be kind. When you feel that your emotions are boiling inside your head and you're either, losing your shit or you're being super angry, just leave. Just go somewhere for 3 minutes. Go to the toilet, just breathe and come back. Because these stupid arguments and somebody's super angry, other person is angry, and you start, talking even though you feel you want to tell them stuff. It wouldn't, in long term, it wouldn't work out in a team. So that's it. And the third thing probably would be honesty. So I try to be honest with people. I try to be honest with my team members. You can put even the hardest truth, you can put it in words that would make it less tough to digest. So even if, I don't know, if you have to stop your project because we're going too slowly or the client is unsatisfied, you can still put it in words that would make your team feel better about it, and it would make them feel like a team. So it's, the responsibility of everyone.
Thank you.
These 3 things. Thanks. Okay, can't see any hands.
There's one more.
Hi.
Hello.
I was curious, how do you keep up the morale of the team in case of some failure? Let's say that you've got some delays and then the client is really pissed off, you are pissed off, everyone is just pissed off. We all know there is a mess there.
Of course.
And now
Happens.
you are the one who just have to keep their morale up and say that you will make it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
I try to be honest, because when everyone, is super stressed and we know that we're not going to meet the deadline, for instance, then saying that we would is just stupid. So I just try to be honest, and I try to face this situation with the team. So I'm not, like a manager and I would be somewhere there on the top waiting for the situation to be solved. Just I try to spend time with people, especially when we have tough moments. I get engaged even if I don't know what to do, because I'm not a developer, so I wouldn't fix these bugs, and I can test them a bit, but I'm also not a tester. So I try to be with them, I try to be honest, and I always try to come up with something that would bond us more. So I bring beer, or we go out for a beer. We celebrate failures. I know it sounds stupid, but I remember this project that was a super total failure in all sorts of ways. And I actually celebrated it with diplomas and with cake and stuff, because we did what we could. We did everything we could with this client, and at this moment we couldn't do anything differently that time. So there is no point in being super angry or disappointed. But there would be point in building the team, right? So just going out somewhere together and just not even talking about this failure, but just feeling that we're together. Thanks. We still have 15 minutes, but don't feel, obliged. And actually, like I said, if you want to, even though we don't know each other, you can just text me or you can write an email. I like, dealing with other people's problems. So we can always talk about it, and I can recommend some reading for you if you want to, or some trainings if you're into mindfulness. If you're not, just try at least practicing sports. Okay, that's it. Thank you.